Now, like this bubble tube, you may find that your controller is built into the base of the tube, or it's more likely that it's on the wall near the tube itself. All these controllers are the same, so let me show you how they work. When you first switch on your bubble tube, it should do this. And then it will automatically switch itself on. When it's first switched on, you'll probably find it says Program 1, Passive and Off. All you need to do to switch the bubble tube on is press the little button here that says Enter. Try that now. Now, presuming your bubble tube is in Program 1 Passive, let's just switch it off. You do that by pressing the Enter key. The Enter key is effectively the on-off switch. If you want the bubble tube to switch on, press there. If you want it to switch off, press there. If you look on the screen, you'll see it says timer 10 seconds. Now that is the amount of time that it will stay on one colour when it's in passive mode. In other words, it'll stay red for 10 seconds and it'll go blue for 10 seconds. Now, you can change that time by pressing either the up arrow or the down arrow on the program button just on the right of the screen. Just have a play with that and you'll find it. You can make it change colour quickly or you can make it change colour slowly. Now, to change the modes of operation, make sure your bubble tube is turned off. If it's switched on, simply press Enter to switch it off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the program arrows. If you go up 1, that puts it to program number 2, step colour. So when I actually press the switches on the front of the tube, you can see the colours just step. It doesn't matter which one you press, it will keep stepping through those colours. Now what you can do is take a low profile switch or any switch and plug it into any one of the sockets on the front of the bubble tube adjacent to the colours. Now the step function will work as if you were pressing the buttons on the front of the bubble tube. It's really easy and it doesn't matter which socket you actually plug this switch into. To switch off the bubble tube, press the Enter button once and it turns it off. Now with a single switch still plugged into the bubble tube, I'm going to show you how to use the next mode of operation, which will be Program 3, and it's going to be called Latched. So this time let's go from step colour, making sure it's switched off, and we're going to press the up arrow on the program button. And you can see there it's gone to Latched. Let's now switch the bubbles on. And now with the switch plugged into the bubble tube, we press this button, and away it goes. The bubble tube switches on. So now with the switch plugged into the bubble tube, we press it once and it switches on the bubbles. Press it again and it switches them off. So this is a latched mode. Once for on and once for off. Try it yourself. Now making sure Latched is switched off, let's go to program number 4 by pressing the program button up once. That's momentary. This is just a little different. Let's switch it on, and with a single switch we're ready to go. So this time when I press the switch, I have to hold it down to keep the bubble tube switched on. When you plug a single switch into the bubble tube, it will step through the colours each time you press the switch. However, if you'd like the colours to match the switch, then you need to do something just a little different. What you actually need to do is plug 2 switches in. This will now mean that yellow will make it go yellow and green will make it go green. If you want to just use a single switch, then you simply need to hide that switch away. So now we just have the yellow switch operating the bubble tube. Now let's look at the next mode of operation. We're in momentary a moment ago, so let's switch it off. And then program arrow up 1, so it says timed. Now I'm going to take a red switch. I'll just plug it into the red socket here. And now it's switched on. Let's see what happens. press the switch and it will stay on for a certain amount of time, but we can vary that time. If you look closely, you'll see that it says timer 3 seconds, and let's increase the time by pressing the up arrow. So now when I hit the switch for the bubbles, it'll stay on for 10 seconds. Okay, let's just make it a fairly short 10 seconds. So with this bubble tube, what you can do, you can set it to go for quite a long period of time or a really short period of time, whichever you need. Now let's go from timed to Simon. We'll switch it on. It says there B, R, Y and G. Now that's blue, red, yellow and green, and what we need to do is plug in a blue switch, a red switch, a yellow switch and a green switch, and this will work great. Now if I press the enter button once more, it says there 3 rewards. Now the rewards are the amount of bubbles that we're going to get when we actually match the colours that Simon is asking us to match. I can increase the amount of rewards by pressing the program key up, so there it'll give us 5. So let's opt for 2 rewards. That'll do if I get it right. It's now ready to go. So at the moment we're being prompted to press the red switch. So let's press, when it asks me, red. And now we get 2 sets of bubbles going up the tube. Okay, the bubble tube will go a different colour and it'll ask me to match the colour. It's gone blue, so let's press the blue switch. And there we get 2 rewards. Wonderful. Now, what happens if you get it wrong? Well, it's now going to change the colour and it's asking me to press yellow. So now I'm going to press blue. The bubble tube turns blue, but I get no rewards at all. So I'll try pressing red. The bubble tube turns red, but no rewards at all. So it still wants me to go yellow. So let's press yellow and we'll get 2 lots of rewards straight up there. If you want to select your own colours, you can do. Turn Simon on and it says blue, red, yellow, green. Now all you need to do is select the colours you want. So let's say I just want red and I just want green. So now it's going to work with just 2 switches, red and green. So now Simon will just prompt me with 2 colours, red and green. And I've also set this, just for a change, for 3 rewards. So I got red correct there. Now it may ask for red again, but it might ask for green. But if I get it wrong, nothing will happen. So it's just the same. Press green, I've got it right, and in this case I get 3 rewards. Simon can be a really good game for matching skills, for turn taking and colour recognition. Let's look at the next mode. With Simon switched off, I'm going to go program and then up, and it says colour mix 4 switches off. Now I'm just going to switch it on, and I actually have 4 switches plugged in. It's blue, red, yellow and green. And all that's going to happen now is when I press a combination of the 2 switches, the bubble tube will go that colour. So now if I press blue and red, we'll get purple. Red and yellow will give us orange, and so on. So you can mix your colours as if you're mixing paints. Switch that off, move it on to the next mode, and now it's 3 switches. But now it's RGB, red, green and blue, the way we mix light. So let's take the yellow switch out. Let's turn it on, and now what I'll do, press red, it goes red. But this is RGB, ignore the yellow. If I press blue and red, it'll definitely go purple. If I press green and blue, it'll go a kind of yellowy orange colour. So you can mix your colours around just by playing with the different switches, and you get a true colour mix. So this can be wonderful for science experiments and things like that. Of course, instead of using standard switches with the bubble tube, you can use the 9-way keyboard. Now, I would watch the movie about how to operate this keyboard to see fully what it does. But just to give you a quick idea, this can operate as one switch, it can operate as lots of different switches. If you have this on 9 switches, the white at the top controls the bubbles in some of the modes that we're going to use. If I go, for example, to a latched mode, I can latch the bubbles on and latch on red. Then I can switch red off. Then I can latch yellow on, or I can latch blue on. But I can switch the bubbles off with the white keypad at the top. So, the 9-switch keyboard adds a lot of functionality to this, but what I suggest you do is switch it on to a particular mode. For example, I could go color mix and I'll go 4 switches, and now I'll put an overlay over the top. And now I've got blue and red, I've got yellow and red, and I can mix my colours around just using the 4 like that. So watch the keyboard video and that'll show you how to use the keyboard with the bubble tube. The keyboard video will also show you how to use your keyboard and all of the programs we've demonstrated in this video with a remote transmitter. That saves you plugging it into the bubble tube.